Hey all. So in the last video we checked out some of the important functions using our string. And this video what we are going to do is know some of the basic applications, how they are used, and what are the different types of other functions which are associated with strings. So in this one, what I have done is I have created my own reverse function apparently, because string doesn't have a reverse function. So I'll use my own custom reverse function which is used to reverse the string and get my appropriate results. Okay, what I am going to do is I will input a string from the user and uh, use the reverse function. In reverse function, we have a character ch and another string rev, which will contain my new reversed word. And here what I'm going to do here is I'll make a for loop so that I can iterate through the entire characters in the entire string, right? So all the characters are to be iterated, and I want to extract them from the last character. So what I need to do is I have to iterate them from right to left, that is from the last character to the first character. How do I do that? So I can find the length of the string. So using s dot length function, I'm just getting the length. But as we discussed, like all the indexing starts with 0 for any string. So here also we will have that problem. So suppose our string here will be apple. So apple has like 5 characters. So in the fifth character, if we start at position 5 is not there. So it will always give an error which is array out of bound. This error is exception which we'll be explaining in the next module. So coming back, so we will have an error. So we don't want to get into that error, so we have to start at 4. So here that's the reason why I'm subtracting 1 from it, so that I'll get 4. And then I'm checking like it should be greater than or equal to 0. So all the values will decrement till 0 and definitely minus minus, right? Then we are using our function char@. Now char@ is a function where we are passing the index, right? And at that index it will get the character out and store it in my character variable ch. So it will retrieve the character out from the word and get it in my character. Now what I'm going to do is I'm printing the character, like this is the character which is removed, right? And then I'll add it to my reverse string. As you can see that I have put it as double quotes, and it is just an empty double quotes. That's how you are supposed to initialize these strings instead of null, because if you put null here, what it will do is it will be like null epp uh, elppa. So if you are reversing the word apple, so it will be like null ELPPA. So we don't want that null word to be there. So to avoid that, you just put it as empty without even spaces, any spaces. Just put double quotes twice. That's it. Then you add it. So it will just loop around, extract each and every character, keep on adding it to reverse. And once the loop terminates, you have your reverse string. That's how we use our functions like dot length or something like that. You can do the equal and equal ignore case to check like whether the user has input the correct thing or not. And earlier, like in many of the switch cases which we have worked with, they have certain restrictions like bro, you cannot use any of the double values or floating point value or strings, right? But in Java, starting with I think JDK 7, they have allowed strings to be there in the switch case. So what we can also have is like in switch case, we can insert a string value apparently. Okay, I have to put it as string ch outside, right? And it accepts it. You see, let me scroll down. You see, there's no error here. It says that it is not initialized. Okay, let's initialize it with our dummy thing. And see, there's no error. So I can have like say case apple or case banana, case mango or something like that. And I can have all these stuff. If you wanted to like say check for the name which is selected from the user, like select the student you want to choose from these people, or select the movie you want to watch next, you can use switch case to do the same thing. So strings are now compatible with the latest version of the Java, and you can use strings just like you were using the characters and the integers in switch cases. So that's another benefit which we can get with strings, right? And then what all functions do we have? So we have explored length, char at, then toString. ToString is a very important function which is like one of the native functions of all the classes. Then equals equals ignore case, and then we have the another comparison function which is compare to. Okay, compare to, right? So what compare to does is, well, let's have a thing like string. Um, Apart from fruits, let's have some chefs, right? Because apparently I've been cooking a lot. So Gordon Ramsay and our Indian one, string chef 2 equal to Sanjeev. Oh, sorry, Sanjeev Kapoor, right? Two of my God chefs, right? Okay. So chef dot compare to with chef. This will actually give me a boolean. It won't give me a boolean value, but it will actually return me a integer value apparently. Now, why integer and what about it is that, let's type it for God's sake. Okay, and I'll just copy this value, cut it, paste here. Now, okay, there are certain times like you have to sort through, say, a certain number of words in a dictionary order. So, suppose a question is like, arrange the following words in the dictionary order or lexicographically. These are the different types of jargons you are going to be given, or in simple words like alphabetically if you want to arrange certain words, so you want to compare them based on their position in the dictionary, and that is done alphabetically, uh, right? So what we are going to do here is this compare to function actually does the same thing. So when we are comparing chef with chef 2, it will check whether chef is less than chef 2, equal to chef 2, or greater than chef 2, and there are three conditions. So it will give three different return types. First one being that if chef is less than chef 2, it will always return a negative value, and that negative value is nothing but the sum of the difference between all the characters, right? And then if it returns a 0, then it will be like both the string values are nothing but equal, right? They are the same. Then we have the third return type, which is obviously the positive one. And positive means that my first string, my chef, is greater than the second string, which is chef 2, right? So let's check out. According to me, the second word is greater than the first word because G is obviously less than S. Let's check it out. So run the file, okay, and it will ask the previous question too. See, it gives a negative value. Negative value means that Gordon Ramsay is less than Sanjeev Kapoor, and I guess I agree with it. So yeah, so it is like your string here actually is less than Sanjeev Kapoor, which is G is less than S. So definitely your values are less. So comparison is justified. Okay, so this is one of the compare to functions which you can use, and always remember your comparison is done in integer. So suppose if I'm doing it is like if chef, oh sorry, I just deleted it, control Z, right? If like if chef dot compare to chef 2 is less than 0, chef plus sucks. Right, and let's do it the other way around. If chef 2 dot compare to chef, okay, I had to type chef 2 here, right? Okay, what I can do, I'll just maintain the same thing. So it will just compare it, and if it is greater than 0, then sys out chef rocks. Again, sorry, it won't work for you, Gordon Ramsay. And let's run, and we won't get any negative values here. Oh, come on. And you can see Gordon Ramsay sucks. Right, so this is our function, and this is how you usually use it. So you don't have to print the negative value, but you usually see that whether it is less than 0 or the greater than 0. So this explains like how our compare to functions work. Okay, so let's go for the next part of the function, like what are pattern matching stuff. So pattern matching is something like when you need to do some searching in your from an array or a list or any other stuffs, like a data structure you want to search, like whether this like character is present. So suppose like you are going to be in a website, have a website, and there you want to find like anything when you type it, like the, right? Suppose you're typing the there, and it is displaying all the related articles or say movies or the pictures, whatever is content is there in that website, starting with the letter the or containing the word the in it. So how do you find that? Well, there is some method where you can extract the thing called the from it. How do you do that? So we have a function called substring, right? And what substring does is it will take the initial index and starting index and the ending index of what we want to extract from a word. So suppose I want to extract Kapoor from the chef 2. What I'll do is I'll get the function substring, okay, and there are two variants of these functions, right? So what substring you can do is you can pass the beginning index. So if you pass the beginning index, it will just uh, start taking all the characters from that index till the end of the string. So here if I want to do the beginning index stuff, what I have to do is I have to count it like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, including the space, right? And then 8. So I'll just put sorry, 8 here, okay, and I'll print it. So system dot out dot println, okay, and I'll just cut this part, delete the semicolon, and print it. And before we go for it, I'll remove this part so that it doesn't ask me again. So let's check it out. Like, what does our substring do? So substring actually retrieve my Kapoor here. So my beginning index being k for 8, right? The index was 8. It will take all the characters from 8, starting with 8 till the end of the word. And suppose I wanted just poor, or say KAP. So I had to pass like what is the starting index and the ending index. So suppose I pass it as 8 comma 10, and now let's check the thing. It is showing KA. Why is that? It will just retrieve from starting index less than what you are saying. So it will be like 8 9 but not 10. So I have to retrieve like say 11, then I have to run and I'll get it as KAP, cap, right? So this is how you do it. So these are some things where you can retrieve the thing. But as we talked about, like we wanted to know like any strings which contain the thing called the, or say any word. So I'll just have it as the Gordon the Ramsay. Okay. So what it will do is, this is how I know like substring I can remove the stuff from a given string based on the index. But what if I need to know the index? So to know the index, we have a function which is like index of. Okay. So suppose I have to find where is the in this word chef, right? So chef dot index of. Okay, so again, you can see there are different variants of these functions as well. These are nothing but overloading the methods. So index of passing a string will just show what is the first occurrence of this string in the entire string, like first occurrence of the substring in the given string. And then if we are passing a character, it will just show the first occurrence of that character. If you're passing a string and a beginning index, then from that beginning index it will scan and find the first occurrence of that string, and similarly for the character as well. So what I have to do is I have to just pass no beginning index. I have to just pass the word the inside this, and I'll just take care of the entire case sensitive part, right? And store it in I. Okay. And what I'll do is I'll just print this thing. So I'll print it from the word the till the end of the word. So I'll use the same thing as chef dot substring I. So what it will do is it will search for the word the. It will find the index of the, and my index will be taken here, and from there till the last. So it will just check for the word the here, and let's see whether my answer is the Ramsey. Yes, it is. So you can check like the output is here, the Ramsey. So likewise you can use the index of method, and compared to that you can also use, so index of always returns you the first occurrence of that word or the character. To use another way of using this function will be a parallel method, which is the last index of. So if I have two or three occurrences of a word or a character, then what I can do is I can use a function which is chef dot last index of. It is exactly like the same thing, like it has string, character, beginning, index and all stuff, but here it will always return the last occurrence of this thing. So suppose I have let's take a letter this time. let's take a character this time. Suppose I have A in chef 2, okay, because, or say O in this thing, because there are a lot of O's here. So let's take O here, and the last occurrence of O is after D. So it should, let's print out, it will be like on the Ramsey. Okay, so I'll just put it within single quotes O and pass it in. And let's check the result. On the Ramsey. Yes. So this is how we got it. So it will first scan for the first occurrence of O. Okay, we don't need you. D, O, okay, that was the last. So let replace the position. Now it will scan for O again. If there are no O's, then it will take the last one and return the position to our variable here. And from there, Substring does its job. Okay, so we are done with index of last index of substring. Okay, then there are some simple things like which you can do it with plus sign as well. If you want to compare, you want to join two strings, which is nothing but concatenation. You can also use a function which will do the same stuff, right? So if you want to do chef 2, you can do that, right? But you have to store it in different types because it is not immutable. Got it? So we have that problem, but in this thing like string buffer, you can change it. Then what all we have, like we can trim. So if we have like spaces here, let's check this out. This is a fun one. Suppose I want to just print it as like chef dot trim, right? So what it will do, it will remove all the white spaces in my string and print it. So what will be the result? So if I had like very too many spaces here like this, so it will give adequate amount of spaces in between. It won't count the spaces in here, but the leading and the last spaces will be all removed. See, all the spaces are removed. So trim will do this. Then another thing is replace. So replace will replace any string with some value. So if I want to replace every uh, say O here with uh, value, say E, right? So it will make it as Gordon Ramsay. Okay, see, Gordon the Ramsay. So if you want to replace anything, you can also interchange these characters with strings and explore it. So more and more, if you just play with these string functions, the more efficient you become and the more usages you can find out for all of these. And that makes you a pro. And once you know how to manipulate these strings, play with them, uh, that actually adds on to your benefit to make different algorithms, search algorithms, and that will help you to manipulate it. Then there is one other function which you may know is we can also change the cases of the strings. So if I want to convert it directly to a uppercase, then what I can do is I can just type chef dot to uppercase, right? What it will do is it will convert the entire chef string into uppercase. Okay, so I have to replace it because it's immutable, right? Run Gordon the Ramsay, right? And now you can also go for lowercase as well. So it will be two lowercase, and that completes like how many functions we have discovered in the entire strings. Okay, If you want to know more on these string functions, you can refer the internet and explore different types of other functions as well. Okay, for now, we are concluding with the strings videos.